ESEA.
It is time for us to return to the fray. And on the map, it's in this first game for Astralis and Liquid as they're about to clash in the server. Got myself, Sponge, and YNK to talk through this one, albeit briefly. Gents, we're kicking this one off already. We got excited about Fnatic. We said, look, Fnatic are going to be good at this league. We have to remember we have got the North American regions as well. That was, of course, a European bout, but we do have Liquid, a team that we're still struggling to place, and unfortunately, this is a battle of stand-ins. It's actually kind of an awkward one, Chad.
It's really awkward. Everything we know has to be thrown out the window here.
I just put it together as I was talking. I was like, hang on, yeah, they both have stand-ins.
There's a couple of spanners in the works here. Obviously, we have Astralis devices sick, Rubino who's standing in, then we have Liquid who have to use their coach Zeus because Steel is unable to play due to roster restrictions, but he will still be standing behind the team, smiling away like he does.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So we need to have like a Counter-Strike face-off.
At least Astralis has a proper stand-in. I mean, they have an active player. Liquid has to play with Zeus. Yes, he was a player previously, but now he's a coach and doesn't get to play all that much. So this gives Astralis a huge advantage.
Could they have used Stan? Actually, let's not go down that rabbit hole, shall we? Let's
not got time for that.
From that. Yeah.
Avoid that.
Sorry, guys.
Like the plague. But yeah, you're right, actually, Yanka. We'll run with your thought, which is, of course, we have an active player, Rubino, of course. He's actually just announced that he'll no longer be competing with Dignitas as well, so he is a free agent and currently standing in.
Is he?
I believe so. It was Fox, Jacob, and Rubino.
No,
he's
still there.
He's still.
Is he still there?
They still have the Norwegians because they have the WSG slot as well.
Okay, so they're keeping
they
Jacob.
Have Chrome and Zeves.
Okay, we got distracted.
Anyway, the point
maybe
of
it's Jacob. Maybe it's not Rubino. I don't know.
I could have sworn I saw
Alex,
a tweet from him.
I follow teams who actually like do something and play at the international scene. I don't know. So talking about Rubino, I think he's actually a good standing for Astralis because he's one of those guys who's really, you know, a Swiss knife, so to speak. I think he can do it all for a team, and he's a guy who has good game sense. He's intelligent, and for me, that's always who you want as a stand-in on short notice. Not the guy who's, you know, a mad fragger, maybe a young and up-and-coming player. You want someone who's played at this level before and who can adjust faster than others at what you need them to do.
So Rubino standing in, I just want to confirm that I did actually make an error. I just saw a very long paragraph saying thank you to Fox, Jacob, and Lau for their time together. It just simply didn't work. He is still with the roster. He was saying goodbye to those three.
Right, as usual.
Just to confirm my mistake there.
I think with this Astralis thing, right, when we saw them have Dennis at Blast, the fact was Dennis was allowed off the leash to do whatever he wanted, and then like with Kirby and Dupree doing similar things, going ham, it made the roster effective. You had the backbone of Glaive and Zipnix. The problem here is Rubino's not the same style of player. Yanka says he's a Swiss Army. So yeah, and that's definitely true. You know, you're not going to argue that. And the thing is, that means there's a lot more pressure now on Dupree and Kirby to be that kind of X factor, or those stars. You know, go roaming around, getting the opening kills, clutching out rounds. Dupree on the AWP, for example. They don't have Dennis there to alleviate any of that potential pressure that could build up.
I don't really care how Astralis does this tournament, but something that I do want to see is I want to see Kirby have a couple of sick games. You know, and I want to see him have a good tournament because you look at Astralis with Device, obviously. They won the major in Atlanta and they won IN Katowice, and that's it for them this year, which is a bit mind-boggling, you know, when you look at the roster and how high we've rated them throughout the year. So for them, they have a lot of question marks coming into next year after, obviously, the major. You know, this is a lineup that's not formed to be top 4. It's there to win championships, and they haven't done that in a very long time. Unfortunately, these last 2 tournaments of the year, they can't play with their full roster, but it's going to give you signs of whether some of the players can actually, you know, come back to the old level and contribute more to the team moving forward.
Yeah, Kirby definitely has not been playing the Kirby Counter-Strike that people recognized him for. Of course, the shaky aim's still there, his signature move, but we aren't quite getting to see as many headshots as anticipated. So yeah, eyes on him, the youngster. But on the North American side of things, for Liquid, Chad, admittedly, yes, expectations are going to be set much lower than normal because of their coach playing in place of Steel. But what is interesting is that we have got some hard hitters. Twist seems to be an analyst or expert's favorite.
Yeah, this is what we need to look towards, right? Because with the standard, we just know the stars are going to be the ones who have to deliver within a system that is broken. And you're right, Twist is a guy who's come out into this Liquid roster. He was doing things beforehand, but now he's been put with players of similar caliber, and he's impressing, right? And that's the thing. He's able to fit into this team. He's looking really good, and it's not that he gets the easiest roles. He gets Cobblestone on drop, for example, and he's still making it work. And then you pair him up with the likes of Elige, who I guess you could argue maybe over the last year and a half has maybe been the best North American player, like consistency-wise and coming up clutch. And the way it's kind of worked out is, I think we get to see Elige as the closer, and then you get to see Twist as the guy opening up the rounds or finding those frags early on.
Yeah, I think, you know, in Liquid's case, even if they had Steel, they still wouldn't be a coordinated squad. He only recently joined the team.
Yeah.
For them, the big issue is that, you know, the player that's standing in isn't really as of a high caliber as they would have probably liked. But I guess they figured for a team like Liquid, it's better to have someone who knows, you know, the strategies of the team and how they like to play and can really just support the core of the team rather than bring someone who can maybe put up better numbers in terms of fragging.
Absolutely. And when we start talking vetoes, I feel like we're going to have a completely impossible task. Just as a little bit of a tidbit, the last 5 maps they've played have all been 5 different maps than when these teams have gone head-to-head. So we have seen, let me see if we can play the game of what haven't we seen. Train, Inferno, Overpass, Mirage, Cash. Those have all been played.
Cobble and Nuke.
So Cobble and Nuke have not been touched by these teams. So it's very unlikely to see them.
Yeah, it probably won't change in this scenario, right? And then the thing is, they're obviously going to lean to maps that they're confident on or ones that they would normally play even when they have their standard players, right? Or their normal players. It's just, we don't know what to expect going into these matchups because we saw in Astralis off the leash, right? They still played a little bit of structured CS with the 4, but they had Dennis doing what he needed to do. And then you have the likes of things with Liquid, and Yanko's bang on. They're still in this teething phase where they have the new players, or they have the new roster, and they're still working it out. So when we look at the maps, it's not really going to help us know what's going to happen in the game, Alex.
I mean, it would be good to bring them up. It does sound like we're going to have a little bit of additional time, so we can delve deeper into that veto should it pop up. Maybe we can summon it. I'll just give it a little... There you go. See that?
Oh, Nuke and Cobble gone.
Cobble.
Fancy that.
It's also,
Machine.
you know, unlike Blast, Astralis won't have, I mean, presumably the luxury of playing mostly Overpass and Inferno throughout the tournament. That's another thing. With a stand-in, obviously, you would prefer to have a far more limited map pool in terms of what you need to play, and we can see that they themselves actually veto Inferno this time around, so maybe not a map that they're comfortable with Rubino on the roster. That being said, I would assume they would want to avoid Mirage.
Yeah.
Liquid on the other side, probably getting rid of Overpass, probably Train.
Actually, it seems like Liquid are, we've seen these teams play Train twice in 10 times they've met, so it's very unlikely to see that pop up in a best of 1.
Can you push the button that brings up the next phase of the veto?
Sure, watch this. Ready? Hang on. Takes a while. I'm a little rusty. I know, I'm a little rusty. Spirit Fingers. Mirage actually crops up. Okay. So the Overpass and Train, as you did call it, Yanko, you called them. It was actually the Cash ban that has thrown a spanner in the works, and that's from Astralis.
Yeah, when those are the 2 last maps, Astralis is going to go for Mirage every single time. Cash is lower on their depth chart. Just in general, even the core 4 players would be more comfortable playing Mirage. So it's interesting because it's one of Liquid's best map as well, and Mirage allows for more loose play, more freestyle, puggy style of play, and that's something that both of these teams are going to benefit from, obviously, with the stand-ins.
Let's just think how this could possibly slot in, right? We saw Dennis taking Dupree's spot towards Catwalk, and then Dupree taking over Device's spot towards Connector and Window on the CT side. So is Rubino going to go and play the Catwalk position? He seems more like a bomb site anchor, but you've also got Zipnix, who is a bomb site anchor, and then Glaive is doing the duties over towards the A site. It's more Kirby as part of that trifecta of Doom in middle, so Rubino's going to have to chime in there. Maybe we'll get to see, a Flary Rubino, because normally he takes the not so juicy roles. But I was thinking of a better term.
You were trying to say the word that rhymes with itch.
Yeah.
Snitch. Yeah, snitch. Thank you. But no, to be very interesting. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I just want to kind of expand that question to Yanko when we talk about this. Like, if you were having that conversation with Astralis, surely you just say, right, it's a new player, but you do what Dennis did, as in just go and fill that role, and you'll be doing that, and just do what you want, be comfortable, right?
Yeah, you see if he can do it.
If
it's not something that's his worst spot to play. It's like, guys, I can't play this one thing.
I've never played it. Yeah.
And then you're probably not going to force him to play that one thing, and someone else is going to move around. But most of the time, especially with a guy like Rubino, who, as we said, is not a player of Dennis's caliber, you're not going to sacrifice something that Dupree is going to do or Kirby is going to do for him. He's going to be the one who's going to have to make those sacrifices, and you're going to try to play a little bit more for your other stars of the team and maybe have them shine a bit brighter. I'm
actually really glad you mentioned Dupree, because I do think a special mention has to be made for his performance in the last series. I mean, this is a player who has been, catching a ride with rifles.
And his performance in Face It Pugs with us, Alex.
Yes. Well, talk of the devil. We were talking to him, actually. We were playing Face It together, and we actually were talking a little bit about what it's like. Like, you haven't played AWP versus AWP, or you haven't played that rifle. Suddenly you're playing against SK Gaming, and everyone's watching. You've got a crowd of your locals watching. And he was just saying, the lesson I learned very quickly is that you cannot peek. If you know where they are and you're peeking into them, you cannot peek dry. Like never, not once. It has to be a flash, there has to be a bait.
Basically, the hardest thing is like trying to pinpoint where the enemy AWPer is, because if you don't think he's somewhere and you just wide peek and he is there, he's not going to miss that shot. So you need to like obviously flash that position, but if you use too many flashes and he's just not being there, then you're just wasting your utility, and then eventually you're going to run out of that utility, and it's going to be hard to get rid of that AWPer trying to get into a bomb site.
They don't miss.
Alex, you know, in case people are hearing the yelling going on, because we're not too far away from where the players are, the Luminosity vs Hellraisers game is still going. It's in overtime right now.
Of course.
And Hellraisers have mounted a mammoth comeback.
This is a B-Stream update and a half.
Yeah.
It was 11-0 at one point in favor of the Brazilian side, Luminosity.
Yeah, and then Hellraisers won the last 3 out of 4 rounds, 12-3, 12-4. Luminosity wins the force buy, 13-4, and then they don't convert after that.
And it just
Hellraisers
spirals.
forces back, and then it just like consecutive rounds for Hellraisers.
And to note, Woxic and Issa are at the top of the scoreboard for Hellraisers.
That is fantastic
Yeah.
news. Yeah, so again, to see, this is kind of, I mean, we talked about Golden and being, new to the offline environment. This could not be any more foreign to Issa and to Woxic.
Yeah, I guess like in the context we could talk of in this group, right? You do have Astralis, FaZe, and Fnatic as like you would look as the top 3, but we don't know what type of Astralis we're going to get, especially coming in even this matchup. Liquid, the same thing. That would be like the top 4. And then you have Hellraisers and Luminosity slotting in below that. So this match for Luminosity and Hellraisers, if they can pick up upsets throughout the tournament, it's very important whichever one wins this. But we didn't note, both these games went into overtime. You only get 2 points for an overtime win, and you get 1 for the overtime loss, as opposed to winning in regulation. Yeah, same as what we had in Oakland. So in regulation, you get 3 points.
Another thing that's interesting, like Mirage being the map, on Mirage, it's extremely difficult to hide a player on the CT side.
Yes.
You know, compared to a map like Overpass, for example, where Kerrigan and FaZe can be the rotator and not really take a lot of fights early on in the rounds. Mirage being, that type of a map where a lot of pressure is applied to mid early, but then you can also try and find that fight early towards A or B. That means wherever Zeus is going to play for Liquid, once Astralis figures that out, they can send a lot of action his way. So it's going to be interesting to see how Liquid approaches that. Do they send some extra support his way? Do they actually use him as bait and then make that, the strong part of their defense, or they just run it, business as usual?
So I know that is like a kind of a matchmaking mindset, as in, like, look, there was players on B, let's just push B kind of thing. That like,
sure.
Does that go all the way to the highest level, Chad?
Yeah, definitely. If you know there's a weakness and you want to exploit it, then you're going to go for that, right? And you're going to send your stars there to find those kills. And then within that, you force them to play it differently. They play the rotation differently. They have to move a different player over, or they have to adjust, right? And if you can do that, then you get to dictate the way the game's going to play out. So it doesn't happen all the time. Like when you look at Fnatic's game plan, it maybe is a weak bomb site, or they have an execute that they really like that's very successful for them, like we saw. But with your verse phase, you're not really identifying a weakness, right? Even Kerrigan had really good moments. But my point is, that's a style that you're just playing your own game plan. But we've seen it in the past, I think, from FaZe on Mirage, where they head over to B, they try and get all picks against weaker opponents.
Okay, well, we're going to see how things go down. We have the Battle of the Stand-Ins, and we do have some stand-up casters for you. It's the beautiful Vince and Jason.
I'm always wondering how that throw's going to work.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say stand-in caster as well. I thought
that would have been a bit mean, wouldn't it have been?
I'm standing Anders. Get the filter for that one.
There should be a Snapchat filter for that.
Definitely should be.
Yeah, Battle of the Stand-Ins, I guess, is how we're going to build this one. It is quite cool. A little bit of a full circle thing. I think the last time we actually saw Zeus play in a competitive match was with Immortals at an ESL Pro League Finals in Sao Paulo.
I believe so, yeah.
So, well, outside of maybe filling in online here or there, but yeah, this will be exciting to see, I think.
No, I totally agree. I mean, obviously, you can throw away a lot of the stats from before because 2 stand-ins does make a big difference. And then, obviously, Astralis are changing around some of their roles, albeit, as that Deska, Dupree was phenomenal at last series.
Oh, God, he was incredible in those finals against SK, wasn't he? Some brilliant op rounds out of him, certainly. I think they did a good job of discussing, though. You could see there Steel, the new player onto Team Liquid, not able to play in this tournament, so he's going to be taking Zeus's place as the coach. I think they made a good point on the desk, though. Rubino is just not going to be the same kind of stand-in that Dennis is going to be as a player. I mean, Rubino was always known when he was in the Dignitas team that became North. He was kind of known as one of the better supportive role players that you can have on a team. Wasn't exactly known to be like kind of the star level power that Dennis has.
What I will say, though, is I always felt like Rubino got kind of a bit of a raw deal. I think he was an unsung sort of hero at times. For teams like, you know, when he played with MSL and the guys from North, for example, he got a lot of the roles that they're incredibly difficult to play, and he often pulled them off. You know, he is a guy that is tenacious. He's a guy that I feel is up to the caliber to hang with, you know, the rest of the Astralis team if he's on form. The problem is that his consistency has always been an issue. So if he comes in here and he has a rough day at the office, then it's going to really show.
I mean, if you want to discuss someone who's had like similar roles but actually gets, you know, a lot of praise for how he plays that role, it's someone like Zipnix on Astralis is the same kind of guy. Those kind of role plays, the difficult spots. But I mean, when you win every single clutch that comes your way, you generally get a little bit of praise.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Zipnix is the clutch master. He is the guy that he can be 1v3s, 1v4s, and you always feel like there's half a chance that he's actually going to pull it off.
He's the cyborg.
He is definitely a cyborg. Rubino, not so much. Rubino's a pretty emotional guy, actually.
You know, Zipnix doesn't get jet lagged. That was my that's what put me over the edge to believe that Zipnix is actually a cyborg.
Well, the machines are coming then.
Yes, certainly. Yeah, that's the next step in evolution. Well, we are live into the pistol round. Astralis taking on Team Liquid. Astralis is going to start on the CT side of things. This also was one of the maps at Blast where we saw dupreeh go absolutely bonkers on. So, fair play to him.
Have to see if he can capture that form again. And Team Liquid, right off the bat, no chill, just running towards B. It's going to be a contact, though. Not going to rush the whole way. And this could bode pretty poorly for Zipex, actually, because he's here by himself. He has no backup at all. There is a rotation round the back, but by the time they've got in, it could be too little too late. And Zipnix is going to try and fire as many bullets to domes as possible. He's going to back away. The idea was to try and hold off for the rest of his team, but he just gets plucked out before it happens.
And this is really cool from Team Liquid. They've pushed into market, so they have control of that, so they can slow down the retake. They're not expecting this fast of a flank, but they do know it's coming now. The Molotov is out. They're going to push right through it. Glaive gets a kill. There's trades across the board into a 3-on-3, and Zeus is just patiently waiting. He's got a great spot to hold this off. Glaive is going to be the next one up there. Zeus, a headshot from beneath. Can't get the follow-up. But it's down to KRB with just 6 HP. And even though he gets one headshot, this is actually doable. If he finds some fortunate timing, Twist on the other side, one of the young stars of Team Liquid, has got to hold his nerve, and he does. 1-0 for Team Liquid.
Yeah, you can see that Kirby as well was preemptively trying to fire spots where he thought a player could be. He was actually tapping towards the bench. So it was an easy kill in the end for Twists, but Liquid able to convert, although it got way too close for comfort. Astralis into a force.
You said it, though. I mean, if there's a second player for Astralis, I think the big thing to note is Zipnix. You could see, like, he's kind of primed to go to that pillar when he has rifles, but to do it on a pistol round when you have no backup with you, because then you have to reload, and obviously the pistol, not the best weapon to get multi-kills unless you have perfect shots. So he's trying to fall all the way back to market to hold that ground, and I think he just kind of, I think there was like a delay of like a half second before his brain told him to fall all the way back. He wanted to play like a rifle round almost, it felt.
Yeah, especially when you put alongside that as well, I believe it was dupreeh and Glaive were pushing up mid, trying to get round the back of the T side of Apps, but unfortunately the rush came a bit too early, so it completely mitigated and neutralized what they were looking to do.
And by the way, that is a strategy that Team Liquid just did in the pistol round, kind of like a contact play over towards the B-bomb site. We might see them do that into the first gun round. That's something that they do frequently when they know they have an economic advantage, so that could be something to look out for moving forward into some of the later stages. Glaive tries to play around the edge of the smoke, and Elige takes him down. You want to talk about having a coach as a stand-in with Zeus. The people who are going to have to step up are guys like Elige, someone like Twist, someone like JDM. This is where you expect the slack to be picked up.
Yeah, certainly from Elige. I feel like a lot of people for a while have been saying he's one of the best North American players, but Kirby with his Deagle is able to blaze through one player, but no more. Nitro spraying with the Galil. The extra 5 bullets trying to make each and every one of them work, but they've done enough. They've forced Astralis off the site, now having to tap from range, and there is worth an Astralis saving. They're going to have nothing in the next round. The Deagle and a CZ wouldn't be a bad takeout.
Yeah, if they can get away with it. Obviously, dupreeh's already called it. He should be fine. The question is Zipnix. Can he grab one kill towards the end? Is JDM actually going to go through this hole and clear him out to the right? And the answer is kind of. He does half the job. Now he hears the footsteps, turns around, and grabs the kill.
Bit awkward. Both players missing each other
It
for
was
a
a
second.
bit awkward.
I was wondering who was going to hear who first, but dupreeh now on 10. Needs to stay as far away as possible. He's picked a pretty solid position here. He should be okay. Bomb's about to detonate. But it would only be one Soul Eagle in play, nothing else.
Just a bit of danger. Maybe he can get one pick off. The always tough part is, can you actually capitalize around that Deagle with just USPs? The answer is likely going to be no. So Liquid, a good start here on Mirage on the T side as well. I was joking with Zeus this morning that he shouldn't even buy rifles. He should just buy CZs the entire game and just drop it over. And just be a bank for his team. Perhaps he'll just be a permanent op drop for JDM.
Just a gun shop for the rest of his team to use as and when they please. But JDM with his UMP is already making inroads towards B. And again, it's a similar situation for Zipnex. But he's all by himself. He at least gets one kill, which is honestly more than I was expecting.
It is Zipnex. He's going to get his. There's Rubino as well with the USP, so they're doing some work. Still, you would expect Liquid still a big advantage here. Twist got to be careful on this flank. Dupree does have the Deagle, and Twist not paying attention. There's a mistake and a chance now for Astralis to capitalize. You can see everyone starting to swarm. It's a 3-on-2. Zeus still alive inside the bomb site, spotting towards Halls. He knows one's coming. Misses the opportunity there. Turns the corner for a window and can't find that kill. Elige, he's got to pounce now. There's the first, there's the second, and now he can just play for time. Dupree would love to get out with this AK-47 with no kit, no armor, not a real chance of him winning. He's going to find the kill and bail out. That's a great round from Astralis, though.
Absolutely. They'll be disappointed towards the end that they weren't able to get it done on Elige effectively 1v3s, but sure, take an AK out the round. Take all the terrorists as well in the time being. Not bad at all. Really dents their economy. You can see now they'll be able to get another buy, but they're going to have Twists down to $950. Not too much more. And a couple more players. JDM's down as well. So, solid effort by Astralis.
I mean, that's great. You have Liquid in a situation where they could be reset. There's the smoke for a window. Op is on Dupree again. Well, not again as in this match, but he's picked it up. We know he's taken those away from Device as he's sitting this one out. And here it is. Here's that contact play towards the B bomb site. Liquid loves this. They've made footsteps. Pop flash through. Zipnex is going to just start spraying, and he gets one. Almost gets a second. He's done great damage, and this should be some cleanup for Kirby. He's got those 2 kills, and there's Dupree chiming in.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Just 1 kill, but he did about 90 damage worth to the other 2 players that were looking to push through. And on Nitro, he can't really escape. He knows there's a player up in the van, he's basically dead. So he's just laid away hoping for the best. And there's a Molotov to greet him. So Astralis are welcome to the scoreboard, and that was one hell of a round.
Yeah, sick from Zipnex. As soon as he hears the footsteps, as soon as he hears the flashbang being thrown, just start spraying. He gets fortunate with the follow-up damage after the first kill, but that's great. Liquid get nothing, and now they're going to buy up into this. AK-47 onto Elige, fully investing the CZs on Twist and Zeus and Nitro. JDM with a P250.
And of course, Jason, this is where that previous round where Astralis killed all of Liquid really catches up with them. They would have had more AKs, they'd have had Galils, they'd have had maybe UMPs instead. This is where it hurts.
I don't know, it hurts a lot. There's a nice flashbang over for Kirby. That's the bomb down, a quick headshot. He's looking on point, and Glaive's going to be able to spray down 1, and the rest of Liquid can't follow up through the smoke. Kirby eventually does get taken down. That compromises Glaive's position. I think Liquid's just going to back away from this. Lost the initial contact, losing 2 players. Still a chance, though, with 2 AKs. They do have a smoke. They need more kills to come out, though. Need to try and open this map up with some frags.
Zipnex in a solid position here where he can, here if a rush is imminent. If not, he can just dart back to the site, which is what he's doing now. Astralis keeping 3 players on A for longer than I was expecting, but now Rubino is going to move towards the window. Still lots of time to play with. They, of course, know that the rotation is very much real. Bomb in the hands of Zeus. A healthy Elige is here, and we've already seen him pick off 1 clutch thus far, albeit against an eco-up round. Spot Rubino, but Rubino gets 2. Zeus, I think, got killed through Elige. Just kind of unfortunate for him, but now Twist is going to do what he can, and that's not much. Astralis with 2 in the bounce.
A couple fights there almost go Liquid's way. First Elige under Rubino and window, and then Glaive almost falling there to Twist. But either way, there's a nice double kill for Rubino at the critical moment in that round, holding control of the middle portion of the map. And now Liquid's going to be forced back onto pistols. No money to really invest a whole lot. They have picked up Zeus, some smoke, flashbang onto Twist. Just desperation, see if they can get into the bomb site. KRB's going to get aggressive, though. He wants that bonus money. He's going to find it onto Zeus. Molotov, Liquid's going to have to run through it if they want to utilize the smoke and flashbang that they purchased. As screams ring out in the background. I can't imagine Astralis is celebrating like that over an eco round win. That's got to be the B stream.
Yeah, that's got to be the Hellraisers matchup. I'm not even sure if that had ended or not, but
we can check. We can give a B stream.
Hold on a second, Jason, because JDM's got 2 kills. Could it? Okay, I was getting a bit optimistic.
You got ahead of yourself.
It was Liquid screaming. That definitely wasn't who was screaming.
No, that is the Hellraisers Luminosity matchup is in double overtime.
Wow.
Which is why we're seeing some screams, hearing some screams.
So 2 matches down and already 3 or 4 overtimes in those 2.
Of course. Wouldn't think any different.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
You want to talk about economic damage, though? I mean, those 2 kills are nice to have. They're not super impactful, but any ability you can to grind down the CT defenses. Look at Zipnix getting aggressive. Nade going to come out deep, and that won't do a whole lot of damage. Molotov is going to hold him back still. Liquid just patiently waiting for anyone to push. And Astralis, it's measured aggression. They don't want to turn that corner.
Absolutely. They did push in the pistol, but of course they know Liquid are going to have full AKs or something similar to this buy. You definitely don't want to push into a trap. No reason to do it. Astralis are in good shape here. They've got the AWP. Dupree can just play passively and wait for Liquid to push. And push they will, but it's looking like this is just going to be the bomb carrier and Nitro while Liquid is still in mid.
I think the idea here is for Nitro to pull some attention so that they will take their eyes off mid. And at the moment, it's allowed JDM to get up catwalk. Zipnix is going to be ready for this, though. JDM turns the corner. Somehow he wins that fight. The headshot is there. This has turned into a B-split now. All they have to deal with is Dupree. And when I say all they have to deal with, we know he's been a monster in the past, and they have no utility to cross. They used it all at A, and this is just easy for Dupree, and now they've all rotated. So the door slams shut for Team Liquid at B, and now they have to fight their way in.
Unfortunate timing for Leash, who was looking at Pillar, but he still does just about salvage the kill. It's a great loss to his health, though, down to 90, and Kirby will finish off what Rubino started. He's now in position to strike his second time. The bomb's been dropped out, and Nitro is going to do as much damage as he can. There's one, and a second, both headshots, and now it's all down to Glaive. There's only 12 seconds left. Glaive has spotted him jump across, but now Glaive has to decide, is he going to go for the full plant or is he faking? And he's kind of went for a bit of both at the end, but Nitro gets the clutch onto Glaive. That is ridiculous. And that's so incredibly brutal for Astralis.
What a brilliant round from Nitro. Headshots all over the place, and even getting off the bomb to chase down that kill. Awareness of the time as well, getting aggressive. Good stuff from Nitro to give Liquid a 4th. And that's got to be a bit heartbreaking if you're Astralis. I think a timeout is just called by the Danish side to kind of calm themselves down. But it looked all over. I mean, that was a cool tactic from Liquid, by the way. I mean, they got everything they wanted out of it. They had the isolated fight on catwalk. They had the B bomb site open once that kill came in. They just had no utility to cover off Dupree with that AWP, who almost turns it in Astralis' favor.
But as much as I hate to say it, but like to be negative to a player, Zipnix should be getting that first frag. And you have to feel if he does get the first kill, that really bolsters their chances of actually repelling that push in the first place. Like, sure, Nitro, take nothing away from him. That was a sick clutch, but Zipnix, you just know that he is so angry with himself for not getting that frag.
Yeah, that's the kill that he probably gets like 9.9 times out of 10.
Exactly. And it had a huge bearing on how things went, and there you go, Zeus of the CZ.
Yes, I told you. Well, either way, I mean, they still only survive with one player, Team Liquid does, so economy on the T side is not great, even though it's the easier side with which to manage it. And look at this position of KRB. I don't think they realize he's here. JDM's going to turn that corner with the AK. I think KRB will be able to hear him jump in the window if that's indeed where he goes. At the moment, it seems like he's just there to cut off rotations, but he could get peeked from connector. Gotta be careful. Great job by Twist, but that puts KRB in an even better position. If Rubino falls in, they don't expect this, and that's great. He goes for a double, he gets him.
Shaky aim on point. Alish and Nitro both dispatched, and Kirby could be on the hustle for more. He sees a trajectory of the Molotov, comes out second best. A kill that he probably should be getting, and now Dupree in a 1-on-3 has already alleviated the pressure a little bit as JDM will fall. Twists on 12, but there's still time and plenty of it for Liquid to use, and they're going to be looking to push a player into CT boxes while Twist goes for the plant. This is dangerous, but at least he gets the bomb planted before he falls. That would have been brutal if he died and the bomb was dropped out, especially considering where Zeus is. How can Zeus do in this 1v1?
The bomb's not planted for him. It's the other side of the boxes. He was hoping that Twist would remain alive. There's no kit on Dupree, which might be the saving grace for Zeus. Not going for the spam, holding his nerve. If there was a kit, this would already be over, but there's not. That's going to allow Zeus, the stand-in, to make his mark on the game so far. A 5th for Liquid, and now they've done it. They've put the economy down to around 2,500 on most players, and Astralis is going to be without rifles. If there was a kit, Vince.
If there's a kit, it's always
sounds like
brutal to see that.
Like a children's story. If I only had a kit.
Should be taught from childhood for sure. Always get a kit, boys. Always. But fair play to Zeus, realizing that the defuse was coming in.
This is not a quiet push from Astralis, by the way. That's all being heard, that there's 2 to 3 players in Palace. And I think Liquid's going to be okay with it. Looks like they're just lining up for a hit, and it remains to be seen if they continue forward with it. 4 players are here, though. They don't have map control. There is Glaive in middle, all on his own.
I think it's solid as well to give Zeus the MAC-10. Allow him to be the expendable player that goes in first, tries to draw out enemy fire. If he gets kills, all the better for it. It's more money to drop across to the rest of his team. But yeah, Astralis have gone for a very heavy B stack. And Zeus is going to get 2 kills with the MAC-10s. That's money in the bank. Meanwhile, Liquid are looking to push onto A, just making sure all the corners are crossed off the checklist, and they seem to be getting cold feet about this, actually. They're going to back away and go back towards B. This could get a little bit interesting, because Astralis currently have 2 players that have gone all the way around the back, and now are in B apps themselves, and now Liquid decide to rotate again as their players have cleared out A. So back and forth, the yo-yo of a round.
You like it. Don't lose too many players. They've been in a weird economic situation despite winning on the T side, so this is just all about making sure you have the money. Zeus with a 3rd kill. That's a great shot from JDM with the scout, and KRB to fall soon after. Yeah, there's the bonus money for your bank. Zeus is going to be happy with that one.
A 4K, yeah.
There was that cool Reddit thread just recently, before this round really kicks into gear, of one of the Brazilian tournaments from like 2013, where Zeus was playing, and he actually beat Fallen's team as well.
Well, there you go.
Zeus told me that was the last event he played before he quit as a player. He said his timing was just a bit off.
I'm not sure I believe in the hype if Liquid play against SK later on. That's going to repeat itself. But Dupree in window, spraying down the aforementioned Zeus.
By the way, paying for his teammate's mistake of missing the window smoke.
You hate to see it. But JDM now, he's already been up here once before, albeit there wasn't as much smoke, so he's going to decide to drop down. Nitro is going to take the brunt of the action. It's going to be Rubino that shuts him down from short, just pushing up the catwalk. A pretty rough start for Liquid after finally getting Astralis into a bit of a corner.
Yeah, but a good crossfire setup from Connector to catwalk as well. That's tough to deal with if you're Team Liquid, and Glaive is getting so much information at the moment. He's pushed A, knows no one's here. They're going to go for a boost to try and pick off Dupree. Is he going to walk back into it? There's a minute, so they can be a little patient with that. And with nothing coming, Twist is done with it. Glaive going to continue pushing forward, and all the meanwhile, clock is ticking down. 45 seconds left in this round. Liquid in a 3-on-5 have to choose where they want to take their fights.
Fair enough to Elige, who is looking behind him, but at some point they're going to have to turn their attention elsewhere, and that's where Glaive will look to make the most of this weakness, this vulnerability. He's going to buy this time and wait to strike, and JDM's going to go down, and even though he hasn't picked off Twist, he's done a lot of damage. It's valuable information, allows Rubino to stay in position, who is going to miss that shot. So again, Astralis should be getting this clearer, and they're letting kills go against them, and that is going to hurt their economy. They lose 3 players.
Yeah, that was costly. Big kills from Elige in a losing effort there. So it's going to be another buy-up for Liquid. They're going to go right back into it, and there's got to be some drops from Astralis, so this is where those kills come into play. Pause coming out, I believe that is from Liquid side of things, so we'll have to figure that one out. 6-4 though, a pretty good T side being put together, all things considered, especially with a stand-in. He had that one, the one clutch, the one-on-one.
He did. That is very true. Although Kirby did have to stay on the site for like pretty much 10 years. So
listen, I think we'll take it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is. I 1v1'd against Kirby.
Yes, it's not a tactical pause, by the way. It's a slight technical issue that's being figured out, so it could be extended past that 30 seconds. But regardless, we'll get back into it shortly.
The Liquid have impressed so far. They've had a